So inventory isn't just a warehouse issue, it's also a leadership issue. When your carrying cost rises, it signals overstocking, poor forecasting, or slow moving parts. And so learning how to calculate this KPI is going to force discipline across your purchasing, replenishment, and your supplier management. And so what I want to show here is what is your inventory carrying cost by part and by month. And so here we have a data set. And I'm sure you've seen something like this before. If you want this, there's a link to download it. If you can't find it, shoot me an email. But essentially, it's just, month end when you do inventory, and then all the, the different part categories. And then here, I mean, a lot of this other stuff, on hand, purchased, how many were used, shrinkage. But the main things that we want is not necessarily the value, but the cost, right, to carry it. And that's what these columns are here. And so you have capital cost, which is essentially if you could deploy the value into technicians, into marketing, into other business related activities, what is the cost of holding the inventory? Storage costs, pretty straightforward. How much, does it cost to store it? What's your warehouse cost? And then you can partition it to, buy the inventory by the size and stuff like that. How much does it cost to insure? The things go obsolete, right? So if you hold older parts, you could have a cost for obsolescence, and then handling cost. Anytime somebody touches it, there's a cost associated with it, right? You're paying somebody by the hour. If it takes them 2 minutes to handle something, there's a cost associated with that. And so then the only thing you have to calculate in this data set is total carrying cost, which is just the sum of these five. I mean, I can show you how to do it. I'm sure you know how to sum stuff, but equals sum and then these five. And you can see they equal. But just wanted to show you how to do that. We don't need this column because we already have it. So what we need to start this, to create this heat map, is we need to get a unique list of the month and then a unique list of the parts category. And then we're going to calculate overall and overall. And then this right here is the main number, right? This is the total cost to hold inventory for the year. Okay, so to get the unique list of the dates, just go over here, and then what you can see is this has, multiple dates for the same, because you're doing it for each part category, and then also you're going to have system type, preferred supplier, but we want a unique list just of the months. So just go to cell A1, hold Control Shift and the down arrow, and it'll give you all of that. I'm going to highlight this, copy it, and then press Control Shift V to remove the formula and just paste the values. We'll call this month. You can call it month end, whatever you want, and then format it as a date. Okay, so for the next thing, we want another unique list, but this time of the category here. So here we can do that. Just click unique, and then make sure you're highlighting the table, not the column D, but you'll see underneath how the mouse changes. So don't highlight where the letter D is highlighted, but highlight where the mouse changes, or highlight the section where the mouse changes. Okay, so now we have this, but I want to sort this alphabetically. It's just going to be easier, to see across the row once you sort it alphabetically. So you use the sort function, and that's going to sort it just A to Z. But now we want this across the top here and not in the column. And the way you do that is with the transpose function here. And then now you can see we have it across the top. And again, I'm going to copy it and then paste by pressing Control Shift V to remove the formula. And so, yeah, so now everything is pretty easy to do. So what we want to do here is we just want to sum the holding costs. That new column we created, we want to sum this, if this matches the date that we have, and if the part category matches the part category across the row that we just created. And so the way you do that is with the SUMIFS function. So SUMIFS, sum this range here, where the month end is, it's cell B3 on the other sheet, and the part category is cell maybe C2. Yeah, so you can see C2 here, B3 here. And now you have the total inventory carrying cost for blower parts for, January 31st. And so now we just want to drag this over and down, but the problem is that we have to tell Excel, the right thing to do, because what's happening is, let me just drag it down. It's easier to show. So you can see here it's on blower parts, but as we drag it down, that part of the formula also comes down with it, and we don't want that. That's called relative referencing. So we want to lock this. So as we drag it across, here, I'll show you. We'll drag it across. You can see it's not on the month anymore. Here, you can sort of see it's on the month. But here, now it's moving over. And we don't want that. And so anywhere you see the column here, like where you want to lock the column, so as you drag it over, it doesn't change. But as you drag it up and down, it does change, because we do want it to go to February, right? So you just put a $sign before the letter, before the column. Letters, are columns in Excel, and numbers are rows. And then for the other part, for the row, we want to put the $sign before the number, before the row, to lock the row. As we bring it down, the row doesn't change, but as we go over, it does change. And then from here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy and paste the formula, because notice if you drag it, the table still has that issue, right? It goes from total carrying cost to month end date. We don't want that. And the way around that is to copy and then paste. And then now you easily have that across. And so now let's just do the overall here, which is the sum of everything. And then just copy and paste that over. And then same thing for here. We want overall. And then equals sum here. And then you can copy it down. You can double click, whatever. And so this is your holding cost by month in the data set, and this is your holding cost by part in the data set. And then finally, you can take the sum of this, or you can take the sum of this. It's the same number, but this is sort of the final answer. This is your total inventory holding cost by year. So it's costing you whatever, $30,000 a month to hold inventory, which you can see here, right? Okay, so the final thing we want to do is we want to create the heat map. So we want red to be high, not green, right? If you were doing sales, then green would be high, right? But so just highlight the data, go to home, conditional formatting, or color scales, and then you can see here that green is high, sort of in that little box, but we want red to be high here. But what you'll notice right off the bat is that this doesn't really tell you anything. It just tells you it's cheaper to hold copper fittings than it is to hold blower parts. So what's better to do is to do the conditional formatting at the column level. And let me show you what I mean. So instead of highlighting the whole data set, highlight the column and then do the same thing, conditional formatting, color scales, red is high. And now this makes perfect sense. Summer months is expensive, right? It's because you stock up. I mean, here in Texas, a lot of work in the summer, right? And so now I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go to home, double click the format painter, and then just highlight the first value in each column. And it's telling you, I could do it here as well. It's telling you what you have is in the winter months, it's a little more expensive, but in November, it's your lowest holding cost, but it's doing it at the breakdown of the column level. And then we can do it again right here if you want. Conditional formatting, color scales, red. And then it just shows you compressors are your most expensive things to hold. And then here, your copper fittings, which makes perfect sense, are your least expensive. But anyways, that's all I got for this one. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. questions@databoards.io. If you want this file, just there's a link to download it. If you can't find it, shoot me an email. And also, if you need some help recreating these data sets or getting some of these insights for you, if you don't have the manpower or the time, then there's a link top of my calendar, or you can just shoot me an email. But anyways, that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you in future lessons.